Also, a very interesting article. More and more governments are going to begin to unveil the super weapons. I've interviewed Dr. Bob Bowman, the former head of the Star Wars weapons program, colonel in the Air Force, when he got out and went to head up the SDI program. And he could only talk about, on air and privately with me, things that had accidentally been declassified that weren't supposed to be. And he talked about how the former head of SDI, after he left, in a debate about SDI really being an offensive weapon in the mid-1990s on C-SPAN, that he went ahead and leaked the fact, that is the pro-SDI individual, that they had unmanned drones circling the Earth since the 70s. And so Dr. Bob Bowman, in fact, it's time to get Bob Bowman back on tomorrow or next week. The problem is he really won't talk much about it. But it's so interesting. And it also shows all of these advanced technologies that are secret and kept from the public. But the reason I raise all of this is that in the 1970s, SDI was already in full swing. The public wasn't even told about it until 1981, and then it was announced that it was supposedly a new initiative. Kind of like they've now admitted, oh, yeah, 20 years ago we were cloning human embryos, but killing them before they grew too large. And, yeah, now we're mixing them with animals. And we've been doing that for a decade. And then, of course, later it'll come out that it was even previous to that. So there's a lot of things going on that are secret in this world. And here's the London Guardian today. It's also in a bunch of other U.S. papers. U.S. military to launch fastest ever plane. And if you guys give me a document cam shot, I'll show folks this. We can put the article up on screen for pacman.pt.vu viewers. Radio listeners, just go to Infowars.com. U.S. military to launch fastest ever plane. Unmanned Falcon hypersonic technology vehicle can travel from London to Sydney in less than an hour. And it flies at the declassified speed of 13,000 miles per hour, or 20 times the speed of sound. Now, I've talked a lot about this, but, and then I'll get into the rest of the news that's happening currently. But this is a lot bigger than just a story about this space plane. And it is a space plane. The issue here is there's a lot of secret technology, just like the stealth helicopter that reportedly is 3 generations back from around 30 years ago that you saw crash in the supposed bin Laden raid. There's a lot of things going on we don't know about. And that's why the system's so arrogant. That's why they're on such incredible power trips. And people need to get a hold of the national security apparatus and force all this out in the open. We've had the elite banking system setting up the CIA in 47 and getting the National Security Act passed to be able to do whatever they want. And so shipping in $500 billion in narcotics a year, now totally admitted, is the tip of the stinking iceberg. We are not in Kansas anymore. Human animal clones, old technology. Space planes, old technology. They tell you that the SR-71 Blackbird, developed in 52, in Secret Service in 55, in public operation in 59, is the fastest aircraft in the world. They've been saying that until today. Cruises at Mach 3 reportedly can go Mach 6. 1950s technology. We're not in 1950. We're in 2011. And I give you the unveiling of the new Falcon HTV-2. They claim they've been testing it since 2003 and that 8 years later they're letting you know about it now. If you believe that, I'll sell you the Brooklyn Bridge for $5. U.S. military to launch fastest ever plane. Give me a break. Unmanned Falcon hypersonic technology vehicle 2 can travel from London to Sydney in less than an hour. By the time you finish reading this sentence, the Falcon HTV-2, the fastest plane ever built, probably 30 years old, undoubtedly, they're now showing you this Tinker toy, could have flown 18 miles. It could get from London to Sydney in less than an hour, while withstanding temperatures of almost 2,000 centigrade, hotter than the melting point of steel. Now, they're going to start unveiling some of the 20, 30-year-old technology now because the Russians and the Chinese are getting a little uppity. And I have predicted here they're now going to start unveiling the 80s technology and 70s technology. Now, Dr. Bob Bowman revealed on this broadcast that by 1979, over 100 drone space planes in continuous orbit around the planet can decapitate the entire leadership of every major industrial nation in 1 hour with DU 100-pound Sabo meteor gun rounds. 100-pound Sabo DU rounds. They are not atomic. They don't cause a hydrogen explosion. The incredible acceleration when they fire it into a gravity well at a target can destroy bases deeper than 1 mile under the earth, under a mountain. They don't have bases 1 mile under the sea level because temperatures are above 120 degrees. You have to burrow under mountains and get the nice 65 degrees on average year-round. This is a decapitation, total precision weapon, and they, by the 70s, the globalists that run our country had these craft circling the Earth. Now, that's the 1970s, and Dr. Bowman can only talk about it because in a debate, the other former head of SDI shot his mouth off. Now, we're in 2011, and they're telling us about jumbo auroras, and that's what this is. I remember a popular science article a decade ago about troop vehicles reportedly in secret development that can deploy Marine Force Recon space troops, that can deploy Navy SEALs, anything they want in 1 hour, anywhere in the world. It goes up into space with its payload, comes back in over the target. They then are ejected in some type of space pod, getting it down near the ground, and then bring their little hovercraft in for a landing. They've also have systems deployed where they're in one-man pods and fired in like a missile, and then at around 100,000 feet, they eject with oxygen mask on and spacesuits and come into the ground. When I gave a speech I gave 2 speeches, 2 nights in a row to crowds of 900 each evening out in Santa Cruz last year. I talked about thousands of dead Special Forces astronauts. And that was the one thing in the 2 days of speeches that some people rolled their eyes at. I have that information directly from high-level people inside NASA, who in both cases began shaking and gulping when I was given the information because they were giving me highly classified information. In fact, I should be talking about it because it'll get me killed if I don't. And I was only given basics. And it was not Bowman that gave me this information. There has been a giant, ongoing, secret space program since the 1940s. The Russians were never ahead of the United States. The Russians are advanced and technological, but nothing compared to what the United States and the German scientists have developed. All right, now I'm going off into a rant about this. But they're finally going to start rolling out the super weapons. They're bankrupting the world, and they're going to let everybody know, you're going to sit here and take this, or we'll take out every one of your leaders. And believe me, the Russians know about this. That's why they had, Berezovsky, one of the big Russian leaders, Boris Berezovsky, just a few months ago come out and say, we have super weapons too, we'll destroy you. And no doubt the Russians have been building giant underground bases all under the Urals and other areas, and they've got a lot of super weapons as well. We'll be right back. We're not in Kansas anymore. Briefly finishing up with the space news, what I was really told was there have been a lot of secret deaths, and most of the space program is under military and space command control, and the public doesn't even know about it. And that's admitted that upwards of 90% is secret. And I said, hundreds have died? And both individuals were like, numbers higher. And I said, thousands? I'm not going to say, but they just smile at you. There has been, and the Russians, you've heard the rumors, the reports of dead Chinese on the moon, dead Russians. There's all sorts of stuff going on. Most governments do not want to announce failures or successes. But the point is, there have been people on military bases, police officers, FBI agents. There have been countless credible individuals who've reported. I've had family that's seen it. The big flying V-wings, the big giant things that look like blimps, and everybody thinks it's aliens. It's human technology. In fact, I've shown this before. You type giant blimps or no, UFO over Salt Lake. And you'll get ABC News, and Larry King also covered it a few years ago, saying, what is it? Is it a UFO? Is it aliens? And they zoom in with a superpower zoom at a blimp over 100,000 feet. You could even see the stinking propellers on it and the solar panels on the side. And it's admitted that DARPA and Homeland Security have got these up at very high altitudes. They've crashed before. But the media still goes with the official cover story of, it must be aliens. No, these, in fact, there it is. Daily download, ABC News, UFO blimp. And then you watch the newscast, they're like, is it alien? What is it? Oh, yeah. Give me a break. It's a gigantic blimp. It's not an alien. It's got stinking propellers on it and tail fins. But that's the low-tech stuff. They go with that because they're really inexpensive. Alexander Haig's company sold the concept back in the 90s to the U.S. government. These giant V-wings. Seen these before? Everybody thinks they're little green men? No, they're not little green men. It's the Aurora program. They've got fighters, they've got drones, they've got troop carriers, they've got it all. And they've done all sorts of tests. And if you're out in the night sky, some nights, I've seen it repeatedly, you see a giant explosion and wreckage, and they say, oh, it's a satellite. Oh, it's Space Lab. Sometimes it is, sometimes it isn't. Sometimes it's secret astronaut program, and they're burning up. So it is a giant secret program. And you're looking at Aurora. 13,000 miles an hour. And you better believe this is a Model T space plane. You can go pull up. In fact, I've been to NASA in Florida and in Houston, and I can't remember which one it was. You can pull them up online, too. The Wernher von Braun drawings of space shuttle. Guys, type in Nazi drawings of space shuttle, that'll get it. Or Wernher von Braun 1930s drawings of space shuttle. He was proposing it to Hitler right after Hitler got elected. And von Braun wasn't really a Nazi, but he went ahead and joined so he could get the unlimited funding. And then that whole Nazi space program just got moved over here. They had the B-2 style bomber designs. They, of course, invented the jet engine and had all sorts of jet aircraft that got into the fight in the last 6 months of the war. But I digress. They developed cruise missiles, unmanned cruise missiles. That was the 1940s, ladies and gentlemen. It's 2011. Look at how computer technology's developed. Look at automobile technology. Look at every form of technology has advanced 30 times, 40 times, 50 times. Now, computing power doubles every year. We're not in Kansas anymore. Okay, I'm done talking about that.